in this room. Set of conversations we've all been a part of. Thank you to you and ESCAP for your support and for hosting all of us here today. My name is Sue Suh, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am absolutely excited to be your MC for the afternoon. I'm honored to be here on behalf of Impact Investment Exchange, the true pioneer in so many of the things that we all care so deeply about, the impact investment movement in general and gender-lens investing in particular. Actions and solutions come from all over the world and in many colors, including, of course, orange, and which we love saying stands for UN Sustainable Development Goal number 5, gender equality. What that means is equality for all gender identities. And I'm so proud to be able to say that here in this room with all of you. And look around this room, again, this orange room. We're each here today at the Orange Forum because we either already fiercely believe in the essential power of building a global financial ecosystem through a gender-inclusive lens, or maybe you've just been hearing a lot about this and wanted to see what the excitement was about. So either way, you're in the right place, and we've got many ways for you to jump on board. So what's in store this afternoon? We'll start off with a kickoff keynote by Tom Fuller of Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, or as many of us know it, DFAT. It's fitting that DFAT is leading off our afternoon as an extraordinary global leader in this overall movement. We're thrilled to then have inspiring panelists joining us for a conversation on how investing for gender equality and for climate sustainability can be mutually reinforcing and drive improved outcomes in both areas. And another conversation on how data, diversity, and transparency are crucial underpinnings of what we call the Orange Movement. And throughout the afternoon, we'll be hearing from the IIX team on what it looks like to move strategy to action. Action, I should say, is the theme of the afternoon. IIX itself was born in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, proving that even when the world is at its most challenging, we can and must challenge ourselves to create opportunities anew, especially for those who need it most. After launching the world's first social stock exchange, IIX has launched a real movement. A movement in what? In transforming financial systems so that underrepresented genders, underserved communities, and environmental sustainability are given a value and a voice in the global market. And speaking of, it's now my absolute joy to invite IIX's Chief Investment Officer, Rob Kraybill, up here to join me. Rob, do you recognize this photo?
I sure do. It's a little younger, but that is me.
Exactly the same. Note for everyone here. This is very special to be sharing. This is a very special behind the scenes photo from our very first IIX Impact Forum in 2012 in Singapore. 11 years ago, IIX was just a toddler at the time, a couple of years into its existence. I had the amazing honor and joy of emceeing that first forum and being a witness to all of the incredible work that you, Rob, and founder and CEO of IIX, Doreen Shahnaz, and the team has been pouring into what we have today. So after 2 decades in the traditional capital markets at firms like Morgan Stanley and Marathon Asset Management, you, Rob, joined the ring in launching IIX in 2009, just a couple of years before that photo. And what a journey it's been. So over to you.
Great. Thank you, Sue. It's great to be back again for the Orange Forum. You did such a great job. The first Impact Forum, we couldn't have you back. And thank you to everyone in the audience. This event is really for you, to inform you and hopefully to inspire you to take action to support the development of the Orange movement. I'd also like to thank Australian DFAT for the key roles they've played in the Orange Bond Initiative. The Orange Bond Initiative would not have come as far as it has without your support as financial support, but also your guidance, steering committee, and your sponsorship of today's event. Also, thank you to ESCAP for inviting IX to hold the initial Orange Forum on the back of the Feminist Finance Forum. If you're here next year, we hope to be back with you. It's been great to participate in this Feminist Finance Forum. And finally, I'd like to thank Global Affairs Canada for their support for the gender lens investing movement, and as an earlier supporter with you in ESCAP of the Women's Livelihood Bond Series.
We're standing at the podium because we want to relive this photo. See the mic go back and forth. I really want to echo the enthusiastic thanks for our amazing supporters that have created the opportunity to be here today. You're all extraordinarily great leaders in this work, and we're excited to hear from you this afternoon. So, Rob, what are you most excited about today? What does Orange really mean to you and IIX?
Well, so the mission of the Orange Bond Initiative is to promote gender lens investing in order to empower women and girls and other gender minorities. We aim really to do nothing less than create an entirely new asset class, much like the green bond movement did for investing in the green economy, to smooth the way for greater gender lens investment. Our initial goal is to mobilize $10 billion, I think as you heard earlier, $10 billion by 2030 to empower over 100 million women and girls.
That's amazing. And we've heard the phrase Orange movement in the hallways, and certainly we'll hear that more and more throughout the afternoon. Tell us a little bit more about what that is.
Absolutely, Sue. The Orange Bond Initiative is a new movement. Begun just over a year ago in 2022. The initiative was formed by IX with the support of DFAT and has been led and guided by a very active steering committee that includes, along with IX and DFAT, the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, leading institutional impactor investor Nuveen, ANZ Bank, Sherman Sterling, and Water.org. Two guiding principles of the Orange movement are to convert gender lens investing commitments into actions, and to promote transparency by verifying the impact Orange bonds and Orange capital have directly with their beneficiaries, giving a value and a voice to women, girls, and gender minorities. But we've already accomplished a lot this year. In December 2022, IX's Women's Livelihood Bond 5 became the first bond to be certified as an Orange bond. It's since been joined by 3 other bonds, and we expect the 5th Orange bond to be issued and verified later this quarter. So the movement is already gaining momentum.
Rob, thank you so much. It's amazing. IIX's Orange Bond Initiative, for everyone in this room, is the world's first debt asset class for investing in gender equality and diversity. And so it really is history and progress in the making.
Well, there's still a lot of work to be done. As more and more bond issuers seek to comply with the Orange Bond principles, these bonds will all need to be certified. And so we're currently running and conducting a training program for the first cohort of Orange Bond approved verifiers. And we're also developing and piloting data analytics systems with the Shades of Orange rating system to help support these verifiers. And we've just published a recent research paper helping potential issuers of orange bonds understand the cross-cutting asset class and how investing in women can also be a solution to achieving peace, prosperity, and climate resilience. Over to you.
Thanks, Rob. Round of applause. Since the beginning, and so it's just, we'll be hearing more from you later in the afternoon. It's been incredibly inspiring to see how far we've come in the past 11 years since this moment, and so much more to come. So, looking forward, I'm thrilled now to introduce to all of you Tom Fuller, who was first Secretary for Trade and Economics at Australia's DFAT, where he served for over 15 years with a special focus on trade and investment issues, including, most recently, on Asia-Pacific economic cooperation efforts. By the way, for the football fans in the room, I know that Matilda's match last night was a hard one, but continued congratulations on an incredibly inspiring work, and to Australia and New Zealand for hosting an incredibly powerful competition. And so I'm a football player myself, so I will be watching the matches this weekend. I hope you all will as well. We couldn't have a better kickoff to our afternoon than Australia, and not just for football reasons. Yeah. Australia and DFAT have helped lead the way globally on gender-inclusive finance structures and systems. And being not only a champion in the words, but really in meaningful action. DFAT has supported the Orange Bond initiative that you just heard Rob speak about, and your work in bringing IIX's groundbreaking women's livelihood bonds to market has really set the stage for this asset class to launch, grow, and thrive. So Tom, we're here both standing on DFAT's shoulders, as well as lifting up your work for others to follow. So thank you for joining us. Please join me in welcoming Tom.
Thank you very much, Sue, for the wonderfully warm welcome. And I did watch most of the game. Just got in time for the first England goal. But that said, it really feels to talk about before. It's really special to see stadiums of 75,000 people sold out every game. And even for the non-Australian games, the stadiums are sold out. So I think that says something about that particular tournament's efforts for women's sports. I think it's fantastic. Although slightly less fantastic than on the final. But and also, I guess on a personal note, while I have mostly a trade background, and unfortunately our head of development here at Post couldn't be here for this particular keynote address. She hopefully will be here later to meet a lot of you. I do have a little bit of experience in talking, listening to the passion of the people on this subject matter. I've delved into trade and development a little bit, and we had some fantastic programs run out of DFAT on things like women trading globally, which was helping female entrepreneurs, and just seeing how effective that was. And the feedback from the participants, we had a huge rating score saying we have actually exported more of our product because of these sorts of programs. And I think things like this, obviously on a much bigger scale, but they're using private capital and know-how to magnify all of these women's enterprises. So I think that's fantastic from a personal point of view. I must admit I don't work on this day in and day out. And also I looked at the background of IIX and the founder working with Remy Bank. I remember studying development economics at university and learning more about that. And it's like, well, it's a blast from the past. So the fact that this is an evolution of that, I think, is also fantastic as well. So long way of saying thank you very much for us being here. And absolute pleasure to join you and an honour for DFAT to be able to speak on this issue and also to support the initiative for orange bonds and IAS. I've got a few words of opening that Trish and I have put together for me. But if we take away one message, it is that the Australian government is very, very committed at all levels to gender equality. That's both in Australia. They've got a report to Parliament where, Trish will have to forgive me if I'm wrong, I think it's either the Treasurer or the Prime Minister gives an annual statement now. And the big ASX listed companies are talking about markers on gender representation, wage gap, things like that. So they're taking it very seriously in Australia. Big ASX listed companies must now report on gender pay and things like that to increase transparency and hopefully a little bit of pressure to do the right thing. And that also is translated very much into our foreign policy and also development efforts as well. So it's very much a sort of across the board government effort in this space. And so supporting this, I think, is very much in line with that. And hopefully a slightly more innovative approach these days as well to financing development outcomes. The Australian government, through DFAT, has been a long-standing partner of IAX since it started its Women's Livelihood Bond issued in 2017. Now with bond number 5 and the pilot orange bond, this has been exponentially increased. The impact of it's now worth $50 million and reaching, I understand, over 300,000 women in emerging markets, which is fantastic. Obviously, it benefits their livelihoods, but also the communities. DFAT didn't hesitate when we were asked to be a member of the Orange Bond Steering Committee, and we've sort of joined we've got from a couple of very impressive players, and we'll stand up here later as well, and testament to the fact that this is quite a powerful thing. Leveraging the power of capital and finance system for positive effective is I think, having an impact, which you're going to hear a lot more about this afternoon. By using orange bonds to empower women through mobilising capital and other strategic areas of interest to Australia and to us all, such as climate action, regional stability, peace and security are also advanced. So I think there are wide-ranging benefits. Market-based solutions and public partnerships bring in entrepreneurial spirit, innovation, measured risk-taking, fresh sets of perspectives that, like I said before, the Australian government and I know the Foreign Minister is committed to finding ways across the board to support a lot of development outcomes. So it's well within that frame. Assisting women entrepreneurs to scale their businesses and make a positive social impact, create new jobs and higher incomes and enhance productivity to the economy recover from the pandemic and the economic downturn. It's also obviously very much a benefit from this sort of program. We know that many women entrepreneurs are adapting to disruptions, making significant impact on their markets, communities and national economies. We also know in our region, and indeed in Australia, there are many cultural, social and structural reasons that hinder women's entrepreneurial activities, and obviously harnessing private sector finance like this hopefully helps to overcome some of those. And I spoke briefly at the start about the Australian government's commitment with the Australian private sector to try and overcome some of these challenges as well. For example, often limited reach of formal financial institutions and mainstream investors calls for all these sorts of alternative forms of financing for female entrepreneurs. This is where orange bonds come in, and there's an important opportunity to mobilise significant. It's already 50 million on the 5th issue, and they're going from strength to strength. DFAT is keenly aware of the importance of drawing on innovative financial approaches to support gender equality, and it's a key policy focus, as I've said, of the Australian Aid Program. Since our first partnership with IAX in 2016, DFAT has supported a number of gender lens investing activities. This commitment has placed Australia as a recognised leader in the GLI space, regionally and internationally. I'm proud to say that all of DFAT's current and new development financing activities are expected to fully integrate gender equality considerations into the design, implementation and reporting. And I can say, having been on the reporting end to the gender branch within our organisation on development trade projects, and having to explain myself as to how my project or whatever on improving services or shared skills in Southeast Asia or something like that had a gender lens. I know how how passionate, how right down at the very sort of lowest levels, no matter what the funding is, this is a threat right development program that we all have to be accountable for. So hopefully there's a testament again to our commitment to these efforts. DFAT aims for our funding dollars to have an outside influence in capitalising ambitious ideas and practical outcomes and realities. And I think you'll hear more about that later, but I think the passion you had from the start attests to that as well. Often, as with the Orange Bond Initiative, this involves supporting the nuts and bolts infrastructure behind the scenes, such as research and analysis, outreach through events such as this, developing transparency and verification protocols and training to roll out in these. This supports the initiative to achieve the ambitious results we're aiming for and ensure an increase in interest in conversations around GLI translate into actual transactions in substantial numbers that create meaningful and verifiable impacts. The Orange Bond Initiative has been carefully and intentionally designed to do this and will continue to evolve, drawing on the insights of stakeholders and beneficiaries. Green, social and sustainable bond markets have been growing rapidly. Issuances across the $1 trillion mark since 2021. There is a huge opportunity to integrate gender and create a cross-cutting asset class that prioritises gender equality and advances all sustainable development goals. This opportunity is recognised by the fantastic initial reaction from organisations and individuals around the world who have placed an interest in the Orange Bond Initiative. After the session today, I hope that you'll all be inspired to join us in supporting the Orange movement, to take to the field of gender lens investing, to take the field of gender lens investing. I think you'll see the QR code behind me and on the tables, which you can scan to find out more and to show your support. You can do this as an individual or an organisation. I very much encourage you to join us and be a part of shaping and growing some future. Thank you very much.